Yo, what's going on, Knicks fans? Because we need to talk about something that honestly has me a little conflicted right now. We just won the championship. We are still the defending NBA champions. Let that sink in for one more second, because that never gets old. But while we're all still riding that high, the front office is already staring down a decision that's going to make a lot of us uncomfortable, and it involves a guy who bled for this team. I'm talking about Miles McBride. Before we get into it, if you're new here, smash that subscribe button because we cover every single angle of this Knicks roster, the good, the bad, and the stuff that's about to make you yell at your screen. And if you agree with anything I say in the next 10 minutes, or if you think I'm dead wrong, I want to know. Drop a comment. Let's argue about it. That's what this channel is for. Okay, so here's the situation. Winning a title is supposed to be the reward, right? You finally get to run it back. You keep your guys together. You don't blow up a winning formula just because you can. That's the dream scenario. And to their credit, the front office has done a solid job holding on to most of the core that got us here. But championship rosters cost real money, and this front office is now bumping up against a wall they can't just walk through. We already watched Mitchell Robinson walk out the door in free agency. That one stung a little, but most of us understood it. Now Miles McBride might be next, and this one hits different for me. McBride is heading into the final year of his deal, and from everything coming out of the building, it does not sound like a max effort push to extend him is happening, which means one of two things. Either they ship him off before the trade deadline for something useful, or they just let him walk in free agency and get nothing but a cap number back. As a fan, I hate both of those outcomes. This is a guy who has scrapped, defended, hit big shots, and given his fan base everything he's got. And now business might push him right out the door. That's the ugly side of winning. Nobody wants to talk about it during the celebration, but it's real. Here's a comment I want to see below. Tell me honestly, would you rather this team pay Miles McBride and risk the tax bill, or move on and reload somewhere else? I genuinely want to see where this fan base lands on that. Now here's where it gets interesting. And here's why this front office might actually have a way out of this mess that doesn't feel quite as brutal. Jose Alvarado. Remember how we got him? Last year around the trade deadline, the front office worked out this whole chain of moves, sent Gershon Yabusel out in one deal to grab Dallin Terry, and then flipped Terry along with some draft compensation to pry Alvarado away from New Orleans. At the time, some fans were scratching their heads over it. Not anymore, because when the lights got the brightest, in the actual NBA Finals, Alvarado was out there making winning plays that mattered. This guy competed like his hair was on fire every single possession, and it got to the point where Mike Brown looked at his rotation in the deciding game for one of the biggest games in franchise history, and decided he trusted Alvarado over Mcbride'S to close it out. Think about that for a second. Over Mcbride'S. That's not a small vote of confidence. That's the coaching staff telling you exactly who they believe in when everything is on the line. So this offseason, when Alvarado hit unrestricted free agency, the front office didn't hesitate. They got a new deal done. 3 years, $14.4 million. And look, say what you want about this front office's spending habits, but that number is a bargain for what he brings. That's a steal in this market. If you think that Alvarado contract is one of the smartest value signings this front office has made in years, drop a like on this video right now. I want this take to actually reach people. But here's the part that stings if you're a Miles McBride fan like me. Locking up Alvarado on a long, affordable deal basically hands the front office an exit ramp. Why stretch the budget to keep McBride around on a pricier new contract when you've already got a guy who just proved in the finals that he can guard? He can pressure the ball, he can hit big shots, and he costs a fraction of the price. From a pure business standpoint, I get it. I understand cap sheets. I understand asset management. But understanding it doesn't make it hurt less watching a guy who helped build a championship potentially get squeezed out because a cheaper option stepped up at the right time. And that's the brutal truth about this era of the NBA. Depth wins you championships, but depth also creates conflict because eventually you can't pay everybody. This roster is genuinely stacked with guys who deserve real money, and there just isn't a bottomless pit of cap space to make everybody happy. Something has to give. Somebody who helped bring this city its first title in decades is going to get the short end of it. That's the cost of building something this good. So where does that leave McBride? Realistically, I think the front office explores trading him before the deadline if the offer makes sense. Get something back instead of letting him walk for nothing. If nothing materializes, they let his deal play out and he becomes a free agent, probably signed somewhere for more money than this front office wants to pay. Either way, I think we're looking at his final year in a Knicks uniform, and honestly, that stings to even type out. Tell me in the comments, if the front office trades McBride before the deadline, what would actually be a fair return for you? Would it take a first-round pick to make that a good trade in your eyes? Or would you accept less just knowing the money situation? I want real numbers, real names. Let's build a wish list together in the comment section. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have some clean solution that keeps everybody happy, because I don't think one exists. This is a tax that comes with winning a championship in this league. Alvarado earned his money. McBride earned every bit of respect he's gotten from this fan base too. And now the front office has to pick a side, whether they say it out loud or not. What I will say is this: don't let this news bring down what we just accomplished. We are still champions. Whatever roster moves happen this season, that banner is already going up, but it is fair, and honestly it's healthy, to be a little frustrated watching business decisions potentially push out a guy who bled for this franchise. That's what being a real fan is. You love the players, but you also live with the front office's spreadsheet. If you made it this far, comment your prediction below. Does McBride finish the season in a Knicks uniform? Yes or no? And hit that like button before you go. It genuinely helps this channel reach more Knicks fans who need to see takes like this. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update the second something breaks. I'll be back with more. Until then, let's go Knicks.